Tobago's funeral home, where we celebrate life's precious moments. From the moment you enter our doors, you're met with kindness and care. Our reception area is designed to be more than just a waiting room. It is a place of calm, thoughtfully created to ease the weight of grief. In our private conference room, conversations are guided by empathy. Here, our client experience coordinators sit beside you, not just across the table to help plan a service that truly reflects your loved one's story. Whether it's a traditional farewell or a personalized celebration of life, we take time to understand your wishes and offer thoughtful guidance. At the heart of our organization is a dedicated manager who ensures that everything runs smoothly, from the smallest detail to the final farewell. We understand that choosing a casket or a coffin is a deeply personal decision. In our selection room, we provide a calm, respectful environment where families can take their time and explore options that reflect their loved one's life, beliefs, and preference. Our spacious chapel is where memories are honored and lives are celebrated. Designed with serenity and warmth, it provides a welcoming space for families and friends to come together in reflection and remembrance. For families choosing cremation, we offer on-site professional cremation services in a setting that upholds dignity, peace, and confidentiality. Our crematorium offers a seamless and respectful alternative to traditional burial, giving families flexibility while maintaining the highest standard of care.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. My name is Dwayne Nurse, one of your favorite youth hosts. And yes, this morning we want to bring you that youthful vibe, that youthful vigor, smack center in the middle of your, busy, ardent, dreary, tiring, wet week. This week has been quite eventful and we have a lot in store for you this morning. So good morning to our special and ardent viewers wherever you're viewing us this morning on whatever platform. And this morning I'm joined with...
Good morning, Dwayne. Good morning to our viewers. According to Dwayne, smack center in the middle of the week.
I am not smack center in the middle of these two beautiful ladies, but we'll take that nonetheless. Go ahead.
I'm happy to be back with you guys, and I'm happy to be the one smack center in the middle of you all. Right? Good morning to our viewers and our viewing.
Look at Vanessa.
Good morning to our viewers on our varying platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and 102 on AMPLIA. Let's not forget channel 33 on Digicel and 121 and 130 on Flow. Good morning to you all.
Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to our viewers all over the world and regionally. We just want to welcome you back to yet another morning of Youth Wednesdays, and I am your host, Renessa Ortiz.
Oh yes, guys. You know what has been? Well, how has your week been like thus far? You know, isn't this not a special day? It is for me. And I think I shared some of the reasons already. But how has your week been going thus far?
Vanessa, I think we can throw that back to Dwayne because it seems as though he has not shared everything that is so special about today. So Dwayne, we throw that question back to you. Why is today so special for you?
Because it's Youth Wednesdays, of course. I think it goes without saying.
I think he really looks forward to Youth Wednesdays being able to interact with us because usually during the week we are not together.
Vanessa has no time with me. Mrs. Montresha, even worse, you know, with a busy life. You know.
But I'm really happy to be with you guys on Youth Wednesdays. You know, Youth Wednesdays, as you just said, is a very special day, always a special day on Tobago Updates. Is where the youths, you know, they showcase their talents and they bring forward the show for you this morning. And we do so very happily. But Dwayne, what is happening in this space? I know we have a lot going on. A special season is coming up, and I'm not just talking about the Christmas season.
Oh, really?
You know,
I thought you were talking about that. Go ahead.
No, it's not the Christmas season, but you know, a season that is normally, what to say, look forward to. Some people not really a fan of this season, but nevertheless, this season comes. So how do you feel about this incoming season? What are your thoughts on what we can expect during said season?
You know, I think I want to be facetious and ask you to be more specific. You know, not specific, but specific about this season to which you allude to. I am not quite getting it there. I'm a bit slower this morning.
Renessa,
I didn't drink my tea.
I am speaking about the political season, the election season. It is coming up. We have seen that varying parties, they would have chosen their candidates for different areas in Tobago. We saw a few new candidates, interesting candidates, I must say. You know, so what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on some of the conferences that we have already seen leading up to such season?
Well, for me, I could tell you, based on what I've been seeing and hearing, quite interesting days are ahead. And, you know, I look forward to the political climate and landscape evolving and becoming more mature. Right? I look forward to, you know, transformative policy that is reflective of our developing status and not the old yesteryear, you know, childish, juvenile picking of the politics. You know, we want to see transformative policy. We want to see what are your goals to take Tobago forward. That is just really what I am hoping to see.
I'm just going to piggyback on what Dwayne said in terms of seeing maturity in politics. I have grown up seeing the back and forth, the pick-on between members, and I've always said that when you're going into the political arena, it's about putting people first, not just about personal agendas or personal feelings. And it's quite disheartening as a young person when I look on and I see adults that are treating with the affairs of the country in a way that is juvenile. So I'm looking forward to see how things play out. I'm looking forward to see the implementation. I'm looking forward to see how they are going to put Tobago on the forefront and how they are going to ensure that in what they are doing and what they are saying actually unfolds if they are selected to be back into office. I
have to join with the both of you on your commentary on that upcoming season there. I think what I want to see most coming out of, you know, whoever is chosen to be in the seat that everybody is vying for, is that I want to see Tobago put first. A lot of people, they come into office, some say that they receive instructions from the higher heads who are maybe overseas. Not sure where on the other side of those seas they are. I won't mention it, but you know, I just want to see someone have a backbone for Tobago, right? I'm just simply going to leave it there. Have a backbone for Tobago.
Yeah. All right.
But in much lighter news, before we continue,
Oh, yeah.
I must highlight our Miss Tobago representative for Miss World Trinidad
yeah,
and
so that
Tobago.
yesterday,
She
yeah.
placed in the top 4 for the top model competition, and I just want to implore and to encourage Tobago to continue to support her on her journey. There are a few more sub-competitions happening until the finale, which is on December 7th in Trinidad. It's at the Sapa. So just continue to send her all your support and all your encouragements. She really needs it.
Dwayne, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like, you know, I kind of like updates with Renessa on this kind of thing. Yeah, because, you know, Renessa is very passionate about this subject, and we can tell why.
Yes, we could tell and we could see.
But I'm seeing it coming in, you know, this like an update with Renessa about Miss Universe, or the representative for Tobago for the Miss Universe competition. But kudos to her. I saw a lot of positive commentary coming out on the dress that was chosen for that last, I think it was Moonlight Gala that they had recently. So congratulations to you thus far, and I hope that you continue on to represent Tobago and make us proud.
Definitely. So guys, although we don't have news in 90 seconds this morning, we want to go straight over to our birthdays. And guys, I'm just asking you this morning to assist me with the first birthday. As I told you, you know, this morning we have Myron Moore. A happy birthday to you. Such a radiant blue you sent in there for your picture on Tobago Updates this morning. And I hope your day is as radiant as the colors you wear. A happy birthday to you coming from the Tobago Updates family. All right. Next we have Denise Guerra. All right, happy birthday goes out to you from the Tobago Updates family, and here from us on Youth Wednesdays.
Up next, we have Tracy Roberts Hislop. Your birthday was happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family. We wish you a very fruitful and productive day.
And last but not least,
we have Krisha James McPherson. A happy birthday to you. I just want to throw in here, they were born on the same day at the Scarborough General Hospital, 4th Street, and went on to become great friends. I'm assuming this was the person before and the person that we are viewing now. So special birthday greetings to 2 extra special people, Tracy, daughter-in-law, and Christian, niece. May God's richest and awesome blessings attend you always. Lots of love always from Mom and Dad and Uncle Philbert and Auntie Anne. Coming all the way from Auntie Anne, Uncle Philbert, Daddy and Mommy. All right? And also from the Tobago Updates family, a happy birthday to you 2 special people.
And to our viewers that did not make it on our list and are celebrating your birthdays today, we still wish you a happy birthday, love, and, you know, happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. All right? So, guys, we're going to go straight over to our rundown. Up next, we're all rundown this morning. Up next, we have a new political party being launched in Tobago every Monday morning. To discuss that, we are discussing with Mr. Anthony James, certainly not stranger to the Tobago Updates show and to Tobago. We have a 2-segment with that, and Mrs. Montrechard and myself will be conducting that interview. And last but certainly not least, you know, a taste of Spain, and we have, you know, the head chef, Caris Bisudat, coming to discuss with us about that, and Miss Renessa Ortiz will be conducting that interview. That's our beautiful, heavy rundown for you this morning. We just have to tell you one thing. Remember to
share the live, share the live, share the live.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you. With a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Elderly can't have fun too. We're talking good food, proper music, lots of games, and a day at the beach they will never forget. From the time we left the compound at Heavenly Care Home for the Elderly, the vibe was already established. Wheels up and seatbelts on. Watch now, when we touched down in Pigeon Point, everybody was ready for excitement. But before anything could take place, we had to secure bellies. You ever play bingo by the beachside? Well, that was the first activity on the roster, and boy did these seniors have fun. However, others wanted something more physical, so we brought out the ring toss, and not even arthritis could have stopped them. Well, I was blown away at how straight these people were. Are you sure this is a home for the elderly? Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday, but nothing beats the song of Good Steel Pan by the shores while we take a dip in Tobago's finest water. Wait, more food again? This is my type of event. The energy was amazing and nothing short of a blessing. Pick up Heavenly Care Home for the Elderly, because joy doesn't retire, laughter doesn't age, and memories like these last forever.
To a stranger.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. We, of course, start our jam-packed rundown right into our first interview. But before we get there, there is a job opportunity out there for you. Hiring the Pui Tree Cafe is hiring a mixologist barista. Are you a master at making the perfect cocktail, or maybe you're a wizard with an espresso machine? Well, the folks at Poetry Cafe are hiring and looking for you. They have openings for a mixologist and a barista to join their team. If you've got the skills, don't wait. Submit your application online at poetrycafe@gmail.com. And of course, this hiring position will be posted to all different social media pages so that you can access the information. Go and make some drinks. Poetry Cafe is waiting for you. And of course, we go straight into our first interview this morning. This morning, we are joined with political leader of Tobago Liberation Movement, Mr. Anthony James. He'll be speaking to us, of course, about that new party initiative, and then we'll get into the TLM to contest 15 seats. Now, we know that's a lot to contest for, especially for a new party. We know that the upcoming parties or those that choose to enter the competition and, vie for that special seat that we all know of, it's a hard run. But of course, Mr. Anthony James, he took up the challenge along with his new party, and he's here to speak to us about such. All right, so good morning to Mr. James.
Very pleasant morning to you, ma'am. Very pleasant morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for that lovely introduction.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Very thorough and detailed, I must say. Yes, well, I'm well known in the Tobago space, and I've been around prosecuting the issues of Tobago, the relevance, since 1998, and we established the organization not as a political party, but more as a pressure group to deal with what is incumbent upon the Tobagonians to achieve. Yeah. So we launched in 2000, but I registered the group as a party in 2016. Right. For exactly this moment. Because there needs to be change in Tobago, and there needs to be change in the relationship between Tobago and Trinidad. So if there's change in Tobago, there will be change in the relationship between Tobago and Trinidad, and it's the fundamental issue that is plaguing and afflicting the people of Tobago, because for 400 to 500 years since we have been here, we have been in captivity. We all must agree. Now, how is one in captivity? You can't be in captivity or slavery or colonization without law. So that slavery was a law, and freedom also is law. Okay. I
noticed that you mentioned that the party, you would have joined the group of persons but registered them as a party in 2016. Yes. What would have been your motivation to move from a group or a pressure group, as you said, into a political party?
Well, this is what I said, for such a time as this, because to make the change, when we came on the scene, we were advocating for constitutional reform, as again, the legality of that, because slavery is law. As I said, freedom is also a law, right? And so that in order to make the change we are advocating, we have to be in the seat of power to make the change. The seat of power in Tobago is in fact the House of Assembly. And the House of Assembly came into being not to be subordinate to Trinidad. That was never the intention. The House Assembly was supposed to be the beginning of the reform of Tobago, because indeed 1889 and prior there was complete government in Tobago. I don't know if you are aware of that. Should be aware of that, right? And so that the assembly, as it was known, was really the place for the government along with the representatives of the different districts to come together in meeting there. It's like in America you have the Congress. In Trinidad they call it the Parliament. But in Tobago, in Barbados, in Cuba, they call it assemblies, really. So it's really that place where you meet. But it is not meant to call the assembly a government. That was never the intention, really. The assembly is supposed to be the legislature, the middle arm of the government. And the executive or the cabinet would be that what it is, the cabinet, the executive. Just as in Trinidad, you have the cabinet, but you have the parliament, and you also have the judiciary. Tobago has to arrive at that point, and we can't be delaying and dilly-dallying all the time. There has come a time, the time must come when Tobago jump this hurdle to have a complete government in Tobago, to be in charge of everything that lives and breathes in Tobago, the entire landmass, the entire sea space, the entire air space, and our lives. That is a right, and the intention of the Tobago Liberation Movement is from day one, when we win all 15 seats. It's from the very first sitting is to declare independence. What that means, we are declaring control over our land, over our sea, over our airspace. All the gas, the oil, all the resources in Tobago will belong to the people of Tobago. The people of Tobago, in a small number, 60,000 thereabout, where the majority population, the adult population will be about 30,000. the English-speaking people, Tobago will become the richest country, the richest nation in the English-speaking Caribbean. From day on, if you quantify the gas and oil reserves in Tobago water, right now the GDP in Trinidad and Tobago, the energy resources is just the last time I checked, just between 21 to 23 billion dollars. The majority of which is coming from Tobago. So fundamentally, Tobago is responsible for the large sum of the foreign exchange that now passes for Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, Mr. James, you shared passionately what your aims and your, basically the manifesto of the TLM was just a while ago. Yeah. Should you be put in such a seat, you and your party, as the governing body of Tobago, what would be your moves to make Tobago a better Tobago?
Well, I answered the first, the question in part a while ago there when I speak about Tobago. Tobago cannot blossom under Trinidad or under anybody. And it was not meant, God did not mean for one nation, one people to be subjugated and be reportable to another nation. That is sinful and it is wrong. So from day one, the first step, as I said, is to declare and claim the right of the Tobagonian to manage himself, to manage herself. That is a right, and that will be declared from day one. Of course, it won't happen. The right will be declared, and when we do that, the false idea of sending bills to the parliament, it is absolutely wrong to be sending bills for the representatives of Port of Spain, East, Port of Spain, South, Labray, Point 14, all the Trinidad constituencies, Sealots, Laventille. Those representatives have no business voting on whether or not Belgarden should be free, whether or not Canby, Roxborough should be free. That is just absolutely wrong and mind-boggling. And the word autonomy in this space has been used as a paradox, really. It's self-contradictory. Because I can't send autonomy to you. If what I'm saying, in a vehicle, the gears in an automatic or autonomic vehicle changes automatically. Nobody else changes the gear for the vehicle, not even the driver. It is on its own, operating autonomically. So we've been having in Tobago passing for politics, respectfully. It's a whole set of backwardness, a whole set of unthought. People have not thought the ideas through, and they are putting that upon the population, right? So that Tobago owns nothing. And the constitution now, with Trinidad having a built-in 39 seats and the population is bigger, Tobago has 2 seats or 2 votes. Tobago loses everything at the elections. Every single thing. It can't work. So that to make Tobago a better place, as you were saying, some of the plans I can outline for you. First of all, we have to take care of everybody. If it's one piece of bread we have to break it.
Mm. So you mentioned that upon winning your 15 seats in the THA elections, that you would declare independence, and you somewhat linked that to the fight for Tobago to govern its own affairs in all spheres of governance. How do you deem to achieve this? If you said that nobody can give you autonomy, and when we look at the mother of the Westminster Parliament, the UK, there's the notion of devolution of powers, where power is devolved from the center, just as we have here in Trinidad and Tobago, where the central government has the most of the power, and they devolve some power to Tobago through Act 40 of 1996. So if not through that, how do you, and your party, hope to achieve this feat, this massive feat of gaining this great power of governing our own selves, if not through lobbying and soliciting the central government?
It's a good observation, and I'm really happy to be here amongst the youth, actually, because as young people in Tobago, we really have to grow up the young people in the right way, right? And so you raise the issue of devolution of power. So power has been devolved, and the only reason why there's that context of devolution is because Tobago, in its current construct, is a part of Trinidad.
Right.
Tobago is a ward of Trinidad that has not, in spite or despite the House Assembly, it has not changed.
Right.
Tobago is an outside governmental jurisdiction of Trinidad. Tobago is in fact a part of Trinidad. It ought not to be. See, it ought not to be. And prior to Tobago being fused to Trinidad, there was complete governmental structure,
Right.
complete government, right? And the right of the Tobago land, the fact that Tobago was made a ward in Trinidad and Tobago to Trinidad, not in modern times. That was in the British colonial times, and it was not these Trinidadians who were in charge. That was a British, an arrangement of the United Kingdom, the kingdom, that empire. And so that devolution to Tobago is really wrong.
Right.
You can't, because we're not part. In the free sense, if you're thinking from bondage, then is legitimate. But then bondage is illegitimate. And so that when we are prosecuting and thinking in our heads, we have to think as the owners of Tobago. Slavery is done. Emancipation was enacted. Abolition of slavery. In the United Nations Charter, it says that every nation should be able to run their own affairs. It is a law. And here the thing, Robinson has won that fight for us in 1977 when he moved successfully the motion for internal self-government. Not that the parliament gave the right, but it was a struggle and he had to do it. Right? So Robinson won that. From time the parliament accepted the fact, they acknowledged and accepted the fact by agreeing to internal self-government. It is saying, the parliament actually said in Trinidad and Tobago that an illegality exists, an illegitimacy exists, because colonization is illegitimate. And the only way you can have internal self-government or fight for self-government is because colonization exists. But colonization is in fact illegal. Colonization is in fact illegitimate. So that, as I said, no, you don't ask for that right. We're not part of Trinidad. We cannot prosecute it from that respect. We have to know ourselves that we are free. And so that the right now has to be declared. And it doesn't go to the parliament, as I said earlier, because let's look at the history. And we all should research the history. Because decolonization, and what we're dealing with is not devolution, but really decolonization or uncolonization, if you want to put it that way. Right? But so, just before I come in, it's very, very important that I say this thing. When the territories who were former colonies of the British Empire became independent or self-governed, the British Parliament didn't have to vote on it. They weren't required to vote. You know what happened? If you go back and check the history, they went to the Queen, they went to the Crown, the head of the empire or the head of the state, and simply declared to the head, the Queen at the time, that they are ready to govern themselves, and the Queen simply instructed the Parliament to delink the colonies. And the movement started out, first of all, as internal self-government, and then finished at self-government.
So thank you very much for that bit of history. Now, autonomy means a whole lot of different things to a whole lot of different people. There's the Trinidad view, there is the central government political view, there is the Tobagonian view, there is the political Tobagonian view. What is your view? Because there are some who believe that that secession is necessary at this point, right? There are some who believe that, just give us a little bit more and we're good, right? There are some who believe that, just give us an increased budgetary allocation and we're good, right? Which of those ideologies or philosophies does your party align to, and how would you achieve? Because we don't have an arrangement like we had yesterday when there was British rule. We have a central government now, in that they govern most of the affairs of the country that is called Trinidad and Tobago, which includes Tobago. So what are your thoughts?
Right, and good questions again. I'm liking the fact that these symbolisms are coming out. First of all, to Tobago, the government in Trinidad is not a central government.
On what basis?
It's a colonial government. because we are not part of Trinidad. In our heads, we are a free Tobagonian people. We have our own country. Tobago and Trinidad are separated by water. Bob Marley said in his song that we built the cabin here. When we came into slavery, we came directly to Tobago and built the cabin here and planted the corn. Those are figurative, metaphorical, symbolic language, right? We built the cabin here. This is our land. Okay? Secession, that word was thrown into the mix because this thing didn't start now. This thing started since in the 70s when Robinson, through the DAC, won the seat in 1976. The PNM is responsible for that propaganda of secession. They are responsible for that. Right? So as you said, they are not. Yeah. And instead of saying PNM, it's just PNM. Responsible for that propaganda. Secession is not necessary. Right? And Tobago and Trinidad, Tobago cannot secede from Trinidad. Trinidad cannot secede from Tobago. We have been around for such a long time so that we are interlinked.
Right. So
but you just know, yes, right? What is necessary, and this is what God in my meditation, because I've been called for this. So in my meditation, what God has told me is that the system will be a capital H. Meaning to say, in a capital H, you have two vertical lines. See? The two vertical lines will represent each. One, the state of Tobago, state and government of Tobago. The next one, the state and government of Trinidad. The horizontal line connects the two vertical lines strongly. Right? And that completes the figure, the capital H. On that horizontal line, you will maintain, that's the partnership. Tobago and Trinidad will now become partners.
Okay, side by side.
Yes, side by side. And that's the goal, side by side. Right? So if you allow me just 1 minute or less to just explain that. So you have one currency. Freedom of movement, freedom of trade. The things that we own together, we call them assets and the interests. We establish mutual committees now to govern those mutual interests and assets. So I know we press for time.
So when I have a very burning question for you, Mr. James. You know,
I too have a burning question.
I'm here to answer
we have plenty.
I wish we have the entire morning, really.
I know, right? I love where this is going. So, but unfortunately, we have to take a quick break, guys. Listen, this is very, very good stuff on Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Guys, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back. Share the live.
How it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. This is Dwayne and Miss Nancy, Mrs. Montreshad with you this morning, continuing the discussion with Mr. Anthony James and the launch of his, well, I would say debut of his new party, and he's discussing with us some of his ideas that he would take Tobago forward. And we on the break, he answered the question about secession and the improving or having a better parallel relationship between the two islands. Mr. Anthony James, you mentioned prior to that question that there's no need for secession and that we cannot secede from Tobago.
From Trinidad.
From Trinidad. You also said that Tobago cannot be a part of Trinidad. We are not a part of Trinidad. And in the same breath, you mentioned that there's a need to improve the relationship by the analogy of the H,
yes,
right? Showing a parallelism.
Yes.
How do you marry the two ideologies? Because it seems a bit confusing it might be confusing for some of our viewers. Can you explain to us what is it that you mean in terms of those statements that you made that I just highlighted?
I mean, like in reference to the...
Right, so you mentioned that Tobago is not a part of Trinidad, cannot be a part of Trinidad. You said that secession is not necessary, which means that, we will not secede. You don't see secession necessary. And then you also said that, there's a need to improve the relationship between the two islands using your H analogies. Help us dissect that and understand that a little bit.
And this is why when we started back in 2000, I actually started prosecuting the matter in 1998, right? Because Act 40 of 1996 was 2 years earlier than 1998. And that, it just dawned to me that Act 40, and I told Dr. Vanessa James and Hochoy Charles, they came to Belgarden Community Center. I'm from Belgarden.
Right.
So they came to the Belgarden Community Center with the Tobago Development Plan. And I took a cursory glance, leafed through the development plan as I sat in the audience. I didn't see anything about constitutional reform there. And I rose in the meeting and I told Mr. Charles and Dr. James that Act 40 of 1996 cannot realize Tobago's potential. Right. And neither does it reflect Tobago's
fullest potential.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we have to understand that Tobago is an island country. It's an island nation by itself. And independence independence was meant for both for Tobagonians and for Trinidadians. And we have to understand that right now in the system of 39-2, in fact, when we formalized in 2000, you know what we call the system in the organization? Trinipoly. At that time, it was 34 seats or votes to Trinidad and 2 to Tobago. Now, 2 seats can't really form a government of Tobago. Okay? We have a right to govern ourselves. Now, Tobago and Trinidad cannot exist. The population has to understand this. Tobago and Trinidad cannot exist equally in the same constitution. Now, Eric Williams and Ellis Clark did not author a constitution for Tobago. They authored a Trinidad constitution and Tobago remained as a ward. So we have not been emancipated. We are celebrating a false emancipation in August. We are celebrating a false independence. We are really living in ignorance and stupidity really in Tobago. It's embarrassing really. If the light has to be shone and so you can really see the truth, and we must own the truth. We must own our own truth. We are celebrating independence, but fighting for autonomy. We understand what is taking place. And the politicians are far removed. The House Assembly, to be honest with you, it has turned into a cash cow. People are desperate to go there for prestige and for money. It is nothing more than a county council. That is what is going on there. Tobago, now, APT James said, the grandfather of this struggle, he said in the parliament down there, Tobago ought not to be a part of Trinidad. So he said, rather, Tobago should be partners with Trinidad. This is what we are now fixing here. He said, we will be what we used to be, self-governing territory. He said, we will be today what we were yesterday, because he was looking at the point in time in Tobago's history when Tobago was a self-governing territory.
And I thank you for that. I think any right-thinking Tobago would be in agreement with that model and that philosophy. My question to you is: you mentioned that the quest for Tobago to have more, or even to have its own governance, right? Right here in Tobago, right? Has also been the touting point of all the other political parties on the island. The current administration has also made strides. The IDA also agree with these strides for Tobago to have more power to govern its own self. Do you see any difference in this quest, in the other political parties, and do you see, and if so, what is the difference between what they are positing versus what you are positing?
And the difference can be discerned in the language you use. They are looking for more. It is not a question.
They're looking for what? Sorry?
They are looking for more power, as you just said there. They are looking for more power.
And just to make sure that we're on the same page, power meaning the ability to govern. And,
this is what I'm saying.
Just to clarify.
Yes, definitely. And I'm saying now, the question of more or less is not applicable or relevant. And that's really the trouble, because it stems from a philosophy, from a mindset that we are part of. And so we are asking for more. Now, if we are not a part of, or not to be a part, there's no question of more or less. There's a question now of just simply taking what is yours. We have to govern ourselves. We can't ask for more of an executive, more of a legislature, and more of a judiciary. So that whole mental, psychological construct is still warped. We are still in that mindset under Trinidad and trying now to legitimize that. That is what is going on in Tobago here. So, and this is why you see now, even with the autonomy bill, the chief secretary was there, I listened to the program when you all interviewed him here. And he was saying that, the chief secretary is young and he just came into the brew. And you have to excuse him. And he's repeating a lot of things that he has heard before. Right? I've been around for a much longer time. In fact, the truth be told, after the Act 40 of 1996 came, Tobagonians, including the chief secretary Charles, they were quite happy and contented. And I started earlier, club. They said, well, hey, this cannot be. And I started the move. It is this person you're speaking to here on set who started the whole move of discontentment with the act and calling for constitutional reform, not for more autonomy. Not for more autonomy now is actually saying that we are a part of Trinidad, so which means therefore we are Trinidadians. When it is not so. So we are giving up all that labor we put into slavery. We have actually surrendered all to whoever wins and controls Trinidad. So the difference is, they're in a mindset, they are still Trinidadians and they ought not to be in the House of Assembly. In fact, the House of Assembly was meant to be that's the history. It was a self-governing institution. And we ought not to be having any political parties in Tobago from Trinidad or connected and subordinate to Trinidad in the Tobago House of Assembly. The Tobago House of Assembly is meant to self-govern, for the people of Tobago to self-govern themselves. It is a self-governing institution. So any organization in Tobago that is compromised with the UNC or the PNM in Trinidad really ought not to be in the seat of the Tobago House of Assembly, and that's the brutal truth.
Now, I was looking at your you mentioned that Tobago has a lot to claim.
Yeah.
Should we become an independent Tobago?
Yes.
Should TLM be that party in governance? What are your plans for the assets that will be given to Tobago?
Well, nothing will be given, actually.
Attained.
Yes. You know, forgive me, right? I'm very clinical when it comes to language and all of that. Right. So you're asking, what will be the plans to give to, just repeat that here.
Attained. What will be your plans for the assets attained by Tobago through independence?
Well, I'm not sure I understand, but I will attempt to answer the question. No, there are assets now, and those assets principally, will be the energy sector, right? And you realize, interestingly, bills after bills and proposal, there was never a proposal for a secretary for energy in Tobago. You realize that, right? They shy away from that because energy is really the economy is based, and they want to keep that. Even when they are portioning water space to Tobago, in this bill now, I have it here, this is the bill that was rejected in Parliament. It ought not to have been rejected because it took nothing away from Tobago. This is the bill that was laid in Parliament December last year that the TPP called the UNC and asked the UNC to strike it down. It is perhaps the greatest betrayal ever in the history of Tobago. In this bill here, Tobago could have made laws for a significant part of what now is its fifth schedule and guaranteed to the THA, not to Tobago. That's THA and Tobago are two different entities. To the THA, it would have been guaranteed 6.8%. And in that regard, given the budget this year, Tobago, I woke out the figures, Tobago lost $1,066,176,000. I want that to resonate. Tobago lost $1,066,176,000. But I want to answer the question here. So what is going to happen on that line, the horizontal line in the capital H? That's where the two governments now will set up intergovernmental committees now. But what is Tobago will be Tobago's. What will be Trinidad is Trinidad. But because you're dealing with international agencies who come in and so on, you will need a committee now to meet with them. And they can explore that. For instance, in TSTT, telecommunications in Tobago will be handled by the people, the sovereign people of Tobago. Likewise, the sovereign people of Trinidad will handle theirs. But there's an interlink. There's an interlink there, so that you need a committee to deal with that interlinking. Same thing with electricity. It doesn't apply to WASA. WASA will be completely controlled from here. Caribbean Airlines is an asset that we own. Right now, because this how the system is stuck, Trinidad is running the show. Caribbean Airlines belongs to Trinidad as much as it belongs to the people of Tobago.
All right.
And so for that now, you will have a mutual committee dealing with that.
Right.
Now, if we're supposed to be building our own refinery and all of that here, all this foolishness about NP truck coming up from Trinidad to bring gas and so on for Tobago every week, we have not had real politics here.
All right. So just as our title says, you are to contest the 15 seats.
Yeah.
How does your candidacy for those 15 seats look like? Have you gotten those 15 people?
We haven't selected candidates, but I certainly can tell you we'll be contesting Belgarden, Glamorgan, Pembroke. A piece of it probably goes on to Grosvenor, and I'll be winning that seat comfortably, easily, and handsomely.
All right. And through your selection of who goes where do you see yourself positioning if the TLM wins the election?
Position in terms of
would you be the chief secretary?
Well, clearly, the vision, the passion, really. I've been called for this. Okay, I've stuck to this task, as I say, since 1998, and the time has come. I've meditated on this issue, and that's why I can tell you that we're not sending any bills to Parliament. Lavantil will not decide if Glamorgan should be free. You follow what I'm saying? That is it's not historical, and it is out of order. The president is equally accountable to the people of Tobago as much as equally accountable to the people of Trinidad. Section 74(9) of the Constitution says.
So unfortunately, we have run out of a short time. We have about 1 minute left.
My God.
And my question.
I think we should bargain to have the entire.
If it were up to us. However, you mentioned a while ago about that bill. Do you agree with the tenants raised in terms of the concerns raised as to why the bill was rejected? One, and two, in that current arrangement, you based on what you mentioned about in terms of having a secretary for energy, right? And I think the rationale for not having one is because it's not under the fifth schedule. It is a responsibility of the central government. So there's so it would kind of be a waste to have one, because we don't have any even legislative powers to anything energy related. So does that current arrangement that you're advocating for in this current bill that was laid in the Parliament December affords that?
No, this bill doesn't do that. As I said, all the bills and all proposals have followed them from the Act 40 of 1996, and then you had the John Prince Committee. You may not remember that, and then the TOP also had a committee that they came up with a bill too. When Kamala was was in power from 2010 to 15, they also came up with that. They have all left out those things. Even the police They have left out the police, and if you notice the Prime Minister when she came, she now talking about Tobago having the Assembly having some local police. They are defining and perspectivizing Tobago as a borough council in Trinidad. These borough councils and local government bodies in Trinidad, they are their own police service. Tobago is not a local government. Self-government speaks to nationalism. Oh, you are bright fella, we talking long time, I know you long time. Self-government is Nationalism. This is a Tobago nationalism movement. Self-government is about national government. Now, this bill, as I said, took nothing away from Tobago. The argument put forward, which was not put forward before, because remember the UNC, in the Joint Select Committee level, they agreed to the bill. And they thought now they want federation. The only organization, my brother and my sister, in Tobago that ever discussed federation, which is what the H will be also, is the Tobago Liberation Movement. Right. So you can't come moments before the sitting, and you cannot have equality of status and federation, real federation in one constitution. So it was really a moot point. And even though you wanted Tobago to be defined by international water, you know what the bill actually, that went down from Tobago, piloted by the principals of the London House Church as the lead. They asked for 8%. You're asking for 8%, but you want Tobago to be defined by international water. It just doesn't make international law. It just does not make sense, my brother.
Right, so Mr. James,
there's so much more to say.
Yes,
it
I
just
understand.
doesn't make sense.
There's always more to say. So I want to say thank you for joining us this morning. Unfortunately, this brings us to the end of this. I know you will be back again. I know you'll be back again. Right?
The power structure is that they are actually afraid of me. I know that. They're afraid when I speak because I speak the truth.
Okay.
But I speak really the truth for you all to prosper because I'm in my 60s, brother. So you all will be coming up.
So I appreciate what you bring to the table this morning. We look forward to seeing more of you guys. This brings us to the end of this this interview. Up next we have Miss Renessa Ortiz conducting the very last interview this morning. A Taste of Spain. Head chef Cherise
Bizuna.
Thank you very much, my lovely co-host. And remember to share the life, share the life, share the life.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Tobago Updates. It's Youth Wednesdays, and we are here with some individuals from the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute as they continue their student dinner series, an exciting showcase where creativity, culture, and culinary artistry meet. Following their Peruvian brunch experience, the students are now inviting Tobago to journey to España with a taste of Spain, happening tonight, November 12th at Top of the Mill Restaurant. Joining me for this first segment are lecturer Mr. Arthur Patrick and head chef Cherise Bisundat, two of the key minds behind this culinary experience. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, good morning.
Now to Chef Arthur, could you tell us about A Taste of Spain and what guests can look forward to at the student-led dinner?
Well, in terms of what guests can look forward to, I'll leave that for Cherise, but basically, A Taste of Spain, this is done by our international cuisine class, well, at least one of the groups. So basically what we do is we try to immerse the students in a different culture by means of food, where they would do research on a specific country and, well, a deep research. So they would research the culture, the types of food, the festivals, the celebrations, however, of that country, and then they would come up with an authentic menu for that country.
And that's interesting that you mentioned all of this, because my follow-up question would be, how does student dinner series help teach the iBridge classroom learning with real-world hospitality practice? But you already gave that answer in your previous interaction with me. Now, Cherise, I'm putting this next question to you. As head chef, what has the preparation process been like for you leading the team behind this dinner? And I'm also going to pass this question back over to you, since Chef Arthur decided that it would be for you. It's best for you to answer. What can guests look forward to at the student-led dinner?
I think it's really important to know that we keep it as authentic and traditional as possible due to good leading from our chef. He really wanted us to immerse into the culture and everything around it. So we looked at their religion, their music, their taste, their historical background, and we really used that to influence our menu while also utilizing Caribbean ingredients and techniques that we have here. We want to combine it both.
Awesome, and it's really interesting and important to know that we are also using our local ingredients, things that are native to Tobago, to ensure that we bridge the gap between international cuisine and our own to create something that is unique. Now, what inspired your approach to interpreting Spanish cuisine? How are you bringing authenticity and creativity together apart from just utilizing our local ingredients in your dishes?
Honestly, it was an episode of Chef's Table that utilized a chef born from Spain, and the amount of culture that they had in the episode and how deeply they talked about it, it really inspired me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, Chef Arthur, from an educator's standpoint, how rewarding is it to see students take ownership of projects like this and transform their learning into something tangible?
Well, it's very rewarding. If I'm being honest, they do get marks for this, so so they really don't have a choice. But it's very rewarding to see them, work in groups and really take the time to do the research necessary to ensure that the dinner is as authentic as possible. So, even though we're dealing with international cuisine, there are some ingredients that are not indigenous to Trinidad and Tobago. So all this is where the research will come in, because, they have to find substitutes for these ingredients and to ensure that they kind of still stick with the flavor profile of the country.
Awesome. Now, finally, Cherise, tell us about the atmosphere guests can expect on the night, the decor, the music, because I know all of that would add to the entire authentic Spanish experience.
So our theme colors really revolve around Spain. So we're using a lot of reds, yellows, whites. We're using a lot of flowers, including like marigolds, and we're incorporating the music into the atmosphere. So Spanish dance, flamenco. So there'll be fans at the table. There'll be music playing throughout the dinner, things like that.
Thank you so much, Cherise. Now, it's inspiring to hear that THTI continues to merge training and creativity through these international themes. Next up, we have sous chef Dejan Hensville joining Chef Arthur Patrick as we continue the conversation and continue to talk about the teamwork, menu design, and what it takes to bring a taste of Spain to life.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy, for queens who know exactly what they want.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back. We're continuing the conversation with Chef Arthur Patrick, but he's joined this time by sous chef Dejan Hensville to continue the conversation about A Taste of Spain, which is being hosted on November 13th, 6:30 p.m. at Tapo de Mail Restaurant at THTI Compound. Good morning, Dejan.
Good morning.
And welcome. We are happy to have you here in studio at Tobago Updates. Now, Dejan, as sous chef, what's your role in executing the vision for A Taste of Spain, and how do you support the team during preparation and service?
So my role is to assist the head chef as much as possible. So by executing certain dishes, helping around the kitchen, and also calling out orders and helping with the plating also is part of my role.
It sounds like you have to be constantly looking towards what your head chef is doing and just be complimentary in the kitchen to ensure all goes smoothly.
Basically.
Now, let's talk about the menu. There are dishes like gazpacho soup, paella de verduras, suckling pig, and crema
Catalana.
Lovely. Which dish are you most proud of and why?
I would say the suckling pig because it showcases time and patience. So with the suckling pig, you will be able to showcase your patience in the cooking process and also with the carving. So at the event, we also have a carving station to supply the suckling pig. So individuals will come at the carving station and get their share of the pig.
So it's more of like an immersive experience where you're not only dining, but you're also being able to experience and be a part of.
Yes, very interactive.
Awesome. Now, Chef Arthur, I'm going to direct this question to you. We've noticed the inclusion of vegan and vegetarian options in every dinner. How intentional is that decision within THTI's culinary training?
Well, in the last few semesters, we made it a duty to implement vegetarian and vegan meals into our student dinners and also into our classroom preparations, because as we know, people are more health conscious these days, and if we are supposed to be the leading hospitality institute in Trinidad and Tobago, then we must be able to satisfy every palate. So we believe that this is important. So when we have our dinners, we can cater for all facets of people.
Awesome. Inclusivity is the new trend, is the new thing that's in, and we have to ensure that on all parts, on all ends, we ensure that everyone feels included in all of the things that we are doing.
Correct.
Now, Dejan, we're heading right back to you. What has been the biggest challenge or learning moment for you in preparing for this event, and how has it helped your growth as a young chef?
I would say teamwork. Working with individuals that you may have not worked with before is a very eye-opener. So when you have individuals that obviously you never worked with before or expect to do certain things, you will have to have a perspective on their side and expect them to do the best of their ability also.
So it's about understanding each other's point of views and coming together in a collaboration to ensure that the vision, everyone understands this and they're working towards that particular goal. Now, Chef Arthur, before we close, how can Tobago continue supporting student-driven events like this, and why does that support matter so much to the Institute?
Well, you all can continue supporting these dinners by, well, we have a THCI page, or you could just go online. We have all the dinners that we would be offering over the semester posted there, and you can also click the link when you go to pay online. We also have short courses and all those things that we offer that you will see on the page. What's the second part of the question, please?
And why does it matter so much to the Institute?
Well, it matters so much to us, the Institute, because we want to know that we at least will share a small part in the development of Tobago, molding young minds that will potentially matriculate into society to uplift and assist with the development of our beautiful island of Tobago.
Yes, and ensuring that we pour into the tourism aspect of the greatest little island on the planet.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick, Cherise, and Dejon, and congratulations to the entire THDI team. A Taste of Spain takes place November 13, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at the Top of the Mill restaurant, THDI campus. Tickets are $400 per person, and reservations can be made at their website at www.thdI.edu.tt. Now, this has been Tobago Updates, Youth Wednesdays. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. Stay tuned for GMT.
The Tobago Day Awards 2025 are here. Celebrating excellence, dedication, and the people and organizations making a lasting impact on our island and its diaspora. From the Medal of Honor to the Diaspora Award, this is your chance to nominate those whose service, leadership, and achievements deserve spotlight. Nominations close on September 30th, 2025. And remember, only online submissions will be accepted. Visit www.tha.gov.tt to submit your nomination today. Let's celebrate our Tobago Trailblazers together.
The Health Hygiene Lounge is a family-friendly space designed to support the health and dignity of women and families. It features two main rooms. The first is the Menstrual Health Room, an educational and service-oriented space that promotes menstrual health, equity, and empowerment. The second is the Breastfeeding Room, a private, comfortable environment for nursing mothers. Together, these rooms reflect our commitment to maternal and child health.
I am thankful that this facility is now available. It really does provide a space for breastfeeding mothers to come here, whether with baby or just to pump during the workday, and do that in comfort. It is an essential need, and just having the space makes it so much easier and provides that peace of mind.
I think this hygiene lounge is a step in the right direction. I think for a very long time, women have not had the opportunity to have a space that's private to deal with issues of menstruation or breastfeeding. So I think it's a step in the right direction, and I really think that is something that should be adopted across the board through different divisions and private sector throughout the island.
This space is more than just four walls. It is a place of dignity. It is a safe space to speak, to learn, to advocate. It represents a commitment to stand in the gap for those who are too often unseen. Together, we can localize our efforts, streamline our objectives, and align our options. By doing so, we move beyond temporary relief and towards a comprehensive solution that puts an end to stereotype and period poverty once and for all.
This is a great opportunity for us to show that we truly understand the needs of our growing families, and we are able to provide the kind of them happier.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
The Tobago Day Awards 2025 are here. Celebrating excellence, dedication, and the people and organizations making a lasting impact on our island and its diaspora. From the Medal of Honor to the Diaspora Award, this is your chance to nominate those whose service, leadership, and achievements deserve the spotlight. Nominations close on September 30th, 2025. And remember, only online submissions will be accepted. Visit www.tha.gov.tt to submit your nomination today. Let's celebrate our Tobago Trailblazers together.
I want to start by sincerely thanking the members of the Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative for the hard work that you guys have put in place to allow us to have the kind of accreditation that we now have.
These boxes contain essential items for babies, giving every child a good start. Ladies and gentlemen, I am elated to be part of this beneficial move.
So tell me, how will this baby box help you?
It will help in a lot because of the stuff inside of it. For instance, the manual pump. You could put it in your bag and walk with it. And the bag, you could open it out and put the baby in it to change. So it's a very good idea, and I'm very thankful for it.
Well, I think the baby box in general will benefit all new moms, but for me in particular, I like the aspect of the breast pump because I personally want to breastfeed for a long time. So that's actually my favorite item in the box, but everything else I think would be useful, from the clothes and all the other goodies that was given today.
The box would assist my family and I, first of all, with the basic needs that baby would need. The one thing I'm actually grateful for is the breast pump, because I was about to purchase one. Since I'm exclusively breastfeeding, I want that the father and other family members to be a part of my journey. And I know that this is breastfeeding month. It is, yes it is.
Today's launch and unveiling are steps in the right direction.
We start by the mummies and the daddies giving birth in a baby-friendly facility. And then we send you home with a little bit more support.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
breakfast. Straight talk, no chaser. I'm your host this morning, Rhea Richardson George, and I'm really happy to be in your company. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Viewers, this morning we are chatting with our next guest. We are talking this morning with assemblymen, secretaries, assistant secretaries. We're getting into their background, a little bit about, their accomplishments, achievements, and their goals for the future. Well, this morning, sitting with us, we have Assemblyman Trevor James. He is the Assemblyman for the Electoral District Scarborough, Mount Grace. He is also the Secretary for Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development. And we're really happy to have him on the program this morning as we go a little bit deeper. Straight talk, no chaser. Good morning and welcome to you, Assemblyman James.
Good morning, Rhea. It's a pleasure to be here on Tobago Updates. And hopefully I can do well this morning.
All right. Well, we're happy that you're happy to be here. Yesterday morning we had a guest on set with us, and this was Assemblyman Baines, and he alluded to your middle name. So, he threw it out there, but I'd leave it up to you. He threw it out there.
No, the name
he said it was a very distinguished middle name.
The name is as it appears on the ballot.
Yes.
So it's Trevor Williamson James.
Yes. It's quite distinguished.
Well, my mother was an English woman.
That she was indeed. That she was indeed. No, I'm really glad that we're able to chat with you this morning. So let's start off this morning by chatting with you on the man behind politics. Before he became Assemblyman, tell us a little bit about who Trevor James was. Trevor Williamson James was.
Well, Rhea, firstly, I never saw myself as a politician. I grew up in a house where politics was always talked about and on the front burner, and all the bigger brothers and so on were into some aspect of the politics, certainly commenting on the politics. But I always stayed away from it. I decided to assist the PDP in 2017 and eventually got into the politics officially in 2021 when there was a need for a candidate to replace hopefully to replace Mr. London in Scarborough, Mount Grace, in Scarborough Hall at the time. And there were no takers. And I was asked to stand in the breach, and I did. And it's been a journey, but the Trevor James is maybe best described as a glorified carpenter. A
glorified carpenter, you say?
Glorified carpenter. I
didn't see that one coming.
I am, in fact, a carpenter. I left school, went to Trinidad, learned the business of construction from my brother, who was a contractor at the time, and came back to Tobago to see how I could, as my mother would say, make myself into a man. And so that is my history. I stayed out of the politics. I try not to comment, and eventually, because of how things began to look in Tobago, I decided that I might be able to make a change on the island, in this nation that we call Tobago, a change for the better. And I offered myself, my expertise, my experiences to the political party of the PDP at the time, to the TPP now. And I think that I have distinguished myself as secretary. I have tried through my conversations in the House, through my conversations at the division, my actions at the division as a manager to try to get into the minds of the Tobagonian, to begin to understand that we have been at this autonomy game in my lifetime since 1975-76. And we are essentially in the same place, accepting marginal improvements, taking little and living long, as we just say, and we are not getting anywhere. And we've existed on promises and the possibility of a change. And one of the philosophies I work with is that if you don't do things yourself, nobody is going to do it for you. Nobody is going to give you anything. Everybody act in their best interest, including every Trinidadian, every politician in Trinidad. And so my actions at the division stems from the example that I think A.N.R. Robinson set, in which he was given an act watered down as it was in 1980, with one secretary to run the entire T of Tobago. And his first action was to name other secretaries and defy the law. And the philosophy is that you cannot achieve change by obedience to colonial laws. In no sphere of life, you cannot achieve change if your mindset is, I have to obey this law that comes from outside of you. And so my actions, though judged unfairly at some times, is meant to inspire a young Tobagonian into thinking that, listen, despite the opposition, despite the small talk, we have to go steadfastly forward, step after step, going in the direction that we want to go.
All right. Now you went a lot into the program there, because you delved already into your role as secretary. But we want to come back just a little bit, because we want to get a little bit more into the background of the man Trevor Williamson James before politics. Now you said that you were one of the younger ones. The older brothers were actively involved in politics. You didn't see yourself getting into, but then there came a time when you felt there was a need to jump right in.
Yes.
Back then, what were the political entities that existed when the older brothers were engaged in politics, if you can recall?
Well, it was, Robinson came back, of course, in 71, 72, after beating APT, I think in 61, and joining the PNM, and, being one of the leading members of the PNM. I think he was deputy political leader, minister of finance, and so on, and found himself on different ends of the political philosophy with Eric Williams. And he came back to Tobago to build a base as a Tobagonian, aspiring to redevelop and recapture what was this Tobago-ness that was being lost in Trinidad and was being overshadowed and maybe assimilated into Trinidad. And so that philosophy of saying, after forming the DAC, and saying, listen, we have the necessary resources available to us, and we have to develop this thing ourselves, is the philosophy that existed and was talked about, and that was the inspiring thing, apart from Bob Marley and the West Indies cricket, that was inspiring for the whole region. That was what was inspiring to our family, that here was this man, saying that Tobago can in fact achieve what we have aspired to. So there was the DAC, there was the ULF, I think, with Kapil Dio, and of course there was the PNM. Those are the parties that we kind of knew about, and this in Belgarden, of course, is a very political village, so the politics was discussed every time you went to the standpipe to fill a bucket with water, and every time you hear the men by the side, they're liming, and all they talk was politics or cricket, or of course reggae and Bob Marley and the struggle of African people and all of that. So that was the foundation of how we grew up as young men, 7, 8. It was before we were in secondary school, by the way. 9, 10 years, and we began to...
Very young.
Yeah, the politics was talked about from a very young age back then. And we were all inspired by what was happening around us.
And so you decided to get involved, I guess based on the track record of the older brothers, and what you saw that was happening within the public space. You decided to get involved, throw your hat into the ring. Now, you would have gone up against then Assemblyman over London, former Chief Sec, the electoral district.
For that district,
sorry,
yes.
the district. Did you feel at that time that those were huge shoes to fill, or you knew off the bat, Trevor James, you have what it takes?
Well, in my world, you identify the challenge and you make a plan to overcome it. And so because of my background in project management and construction and so on, we always think solutions. And so my team and I identified what we think the solution would be for someone trying to replace a former chief sec, and how we need to sell myself to the public and what we need to sell. And so the vision to transform Tobago is what we thought would inspire the people in and around Scarborough, And so we sat back. I remember sitting with a couple guys an afternoon and saying, you know, boy, we have to come up with something. And we came up with the Scarborough Development Plan one afternoon, and by the next week it was on paper. And so we tried to sell something that would inspire not only Scarborough, Calder Hall, Mount Grace, but the entire T of Tobago. And I think after a year, people began to buy into the vision in a majority in the district. And so thankfully I was voted in to represent Scarborough, Mount Grace, and I give thanks.
Right. Now I want to talk a little bit about that plan for Scarborough. Where are we to date? Tell us about some of the changes that have been made, notable changes that have been made, and how they have been working thus far.
Well, like all big plans, you know, Patrick Manning came up with Vision 2020. Mm-hmm. The UNC is now rolling out something big to transform Trinidad. Every jurisdiction at some point in time must come up with transformative ideas and projects to reignite economic activity and to move the island forward, to move the territory forward. Mm-hmm. We did that. We pursued the project as far as we could. We had some of the biggest consultations across the island. Mm-hmm. And we hired a consultant who hired a group of international consultants to develop the project. And we have a feasibility study online. We have the designs online. We went out to tender. We had proponents we were negotiating with, and both who required a sovereign guarantee. And the government in Port of Spain has not seen it fit yet to give us a sovereign guarantee. And that's one of the autonomy things that even after we have identified that Tobago is stagnant, mm-hmm. even after we have sold to the PNM and we sent the documents to the Prime Minister, to every Minister of Government to say, listen, this is what Tobago requires. We're still where we are, still waiting for a letter from the government that says you can get into a PPP arrangement for a project that essentially funds itself. Mm-hmm. And the government still refusing to do that. And it's something we continue to negotiate with the current government on, and to see whether we can change their minds before other actions are taken.
All right. And I mean, that was just one. Let's talk a little bit about some of how your life has changed since taking office. This is 4 years now. What are some of the accomplishments within your career, your life, or not? What are some of the changes some of the changes within your space? How has life changed for you?
Well, everybody knows my face now, I suppose. I get vilified and I get supported, and you know, in the politics, you have to be thick-skinned and learn to accept small talk. So your life is scrutinized. Everything you do and say, and things that you don't do and say are attributed to you as well. Mm-hmm. Because there is this propensity, I think, we have in Tobago to pull people down mm-hmm. unnecessarily. So I've had to put on my big boy boots and take the talk mm-hmm. and decide not to respond at times, and decide to get on and respond at sometimes. So that has been a challenge, because for me, I don't take kindly to people attacking me and without defense. So it's been a challenge to decide what matters to let slide and what matters I should attack. In my personal life, of course, the country knows about my wife's challenges and so on. So that has been a difficult time for the family. But we're happy that she's here with us, and we do our best for her. My biggest daughter has returned to serve. She's back at the hospital now, having completed her studies abroad and her internship in England and so on, she's begun to serve, and my second daughter is on her way, and my young son hopefully is on his way as well. So life is measurably good. The family is still intact, and we give thanks for the blessings that we have.
All right, but we take the opportunity this morning to send out a special good morning to Mrs. James. I trust that you're listening. I trust that you're watching and listening, but a special good morning going out to you this morning. Yeah. But we're going to take a quick break, viewers. When we come back, we are going to be still chatting this morning with Assemblyman James, and we want to talk about some of the major accomplishments over the past 4 years. Remember, straight talk, no chaser, beneath the surface. Join us after the break.
The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
The buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti served with chokers, bull joil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people and its progress. And today, we're going even further. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Welcome back this morning. This is Beneath the Surface, Straight Talk, No Chaser. We continue chatting with Assemblyman Trevor James. But just before we continue our discussion, are you a master at making the perfect cocktail? Or maybe you're a wizard with an espresso machine? Well, the folks at Poetry Cafe are hiring and looking for you. They have openings for a mixologist and a barista to join their team. If you've got the skills, don't wait. Submit your application online at poetrycafe@gmail.com. That's poetrycafe@gmail.com. Well, viewers, we continue chatting this morning with Assemblyman James. Now, just before we took the break, we asked about some of the noticeable changes in and around Scarborough. So we want to go back to that before we talk about some of the accomplishments within the division, etc. So when we look at Scarborough, within the past 4 years, what, for that person who has been away from Tobago for the past 5 years or so, what can they expect? What are some of the notable changes? We're talking Scarborough, but I mean, if we broaden the scope a little bit here, I see you uncross the legs. Yes, he's ready to get into it. So let's talk about some of the noticeable changes in and around Scarborough, and then we can widen the scope.
Ria, after we built the road through Friendship, there's an expectation that we could do great things in Tobago. The challenge of Scarborough is connected to the movement of people in and out of the city, especially if we are trying to build a new cruise terminal or bring more people into Scarborough, significantly more people. You see what happens with Carnival now and how the road that we built through Smithfield coming up to Dodge Fort has worked and is working. But we have not been able to do the things that we've envisioned for Scarborough simply because we don't have the funds. We, at the Division of Infrastructure, since 2023, our budget has been $41 million for development projects. I want to put it in context.
Yes.
$41 million when the wages for the development workers is $41.5 million. I think this year, our budget is $33 million. And so we are making the proverbial bread out of stone and trying to execute projects in Tobago. And that has been the challenge. The Division of Finance and the Secretary of Finance, both Secretaries of Finance now, have been doing their best to via money from other places into the division so we could execute work. And I took a decision when I came in and saw the state of the accounts and the amount of debt that the division was in, that we can't pay for works that we can't see, that we had to rely on the internal staff to do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. And so a lot of the works you see around, the works are being done by the development team with monies wired from different places to give them the material to work.
Question, but this being the largest allocation that Tobago has ever seen, can we expect more to be done? I mean, not saying that enough isn't being done, but can we expect more? Because you indicated that one of the challenges was allocation, is always money. But can we expect more to be done with?
Well, I want to be guarded. I want to be guarded in my response because that's a response more for the Chief Secretary, maybe the Secretary of Finance. But as Secretary for Infrastructure now, I would expect that the reprioritization that will happen today will identify more resources to the division. And if that happens, then absolutely the public can expect more.
What would you like to see done? Let's say you have access to exactly what you need, all of the funding that you require to get to see changes done in and around Scarborough. What would be the first thing that you would tackle in and around Scarborough?
It's difficult to have a first because several things need to be done at the same time. But Scarborough needs a major facelift.
Yes.
And so some beautification projects will be high up on the agenda. But the traffic situation for a small island is one of the big problems we want to solve. We have at the division come up with a whole series of road networks that would move people in and out of the city faster. And so we want to see that done. Some beautification projects, that road network to be done. Better sidewalks, a cleaner city. Those are the kind of things that we want to see done if we had all the money. Of course, building out the port and so on will be maybe number one on the priority if we had the money.
All right. Now, I tell you, I live in the East, Mr. James, and one of the pet peeves is the lack of sidewalks on that Windward Road. And I know we talk in Scarborough. Yes, even in Scarborough, there are areas that there are no sidewalks. You have to walk on the side of the road, and it. One would think. I mean, what is apart from the funding, what are some of the other challenges that you face in getting some of these? Will these be low-hanging fruits? Getting some of these initiatives up and running off the ground?
There's a conversation about low-hanging fruits, right? You know, we have to get to the place in Tobago where we remember what our history is. We build houses and move into house with galvanized window and wood window and just a little plyboard by the sink and so on, because we know. Although we don't realize that we know that we have to go after the big thing first, and then the small things will naturally come.
Okay.
And I think essentially we have to remember that. You know, when I was young, there was a guy who was going to buy a car. I don't remember that. And he went and he buy a deck. Them days, new deck was in. He buy a deck and he buy speakers. And so we asked him, so what are you going to do now? He said, I put it below my bed and I'll go and buy some rims. Right? And he never bought a car. So we have to remember that if we don't seek to achieve the big things, they will never come, and we will focus ourselves only on these supposedly low-hanging fruits. Not to say that they don't have to be done. They must be done. But we have to bear in mind that those things don't move the island forward. They don't bring work, they don't bring investment, they don't bring opportunity. And so we have to...
What about the ease and comfort of the citizens of the island?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying, they have to be done. But as a focus, my opinion, a government has to focus on the things that impact the economy and the future and employment in the future and so on. That has to be the focus. Because when you do that, you'll always find money to buy your window when you build your house, because you're going to save a little money, you're going to stop drinking beers, and you're going to buy your window eventually. But you wouldn't, if you buy windows and put them down, you never build the house.
Concentrate on the larger.
And that I'm saying, that has to be the focus, right? But there are some things that have been left unattended for years. There have been some planning and design things that, in my opinion, willfully designed to keep Tobago from rising. And those things need to be corrected. The road to Windward in the villages, sidewalks, maybe one of those things. But we have lived in a nation where we've been boxed in. So we have the road around the island on the periphery, and we've been told for years that the rainforest is untouchable. And when the sea starts to take back some of the road, we have challenges with getting approval to do a revetment from EMA. So we in Tobago, we have to be careful in how we present ourselves to the people and to the country. Because this design, subliminal as it is in some cases, are not of us. And we have to chart our own course if we are to succeed. Otherwise, we'll be trapped forever, limited by design challenges, limited by legal challenges, limited by legislative hindrances, and we will never be able to go forward.
Right, and I know earlier on I asked you about some of the accomplishments, and I think I interjected. So let's go back to that. I interrupted, so my apologies. Yeah. So let's go back to some of the achievements and accomplishments.
Well, as Secretary for Infrastructure, I think we have demonstrated quite clearly that the human resource capital we have in the division given the right tools and the right encouragement and the right motivation and so on, can produce for Tobago. We still have productivity challenges in some areas, of course, across the THA. But we have moved a mountain in Castara with THA Works Division workers. We have built massive retaining walls, things that were never done. I was reminded this morning by a video I saw online from Jay Boxer about the last administration saying the road could not be removal of the steps at King Peter Bay Hill could not be done. And we came in, and in our first year, in the rainy season, that was done in a few months. And so we have demonstrated at the division that we have the capacity to construct, the capacity to manage. The road through friendship was managed by division staff, no consultants. And of course, we are very proud that we persevered despite the talk, despite the challenges, despite the attacks from politicians and the EMA and so on. We persisted to be able to give Tobago the gift of that road. And the road is not just to open out Friendship and Cove. The road, I want it to be seen as a symbol of what a Tobago Tobago government can do if given the resources. Because I remember that Patrick Manning came and put up a billboard right at Rocky Vale Junction with a red road going east to Charlottesville. It's never been done. So we are always acutely aware of promises coming from the central government in order to woo Tobagonians to vote a particular way or to keep us in abeyance somewhere with no intent. The road that they kept talking about coming behind the airport and coming over to Friendship, they had no intention to do it. It was just a design gimmick. They had no intention, as clearly by the fact that they never bought the land. They never had conversation with the landowners, much less to design something. It's just designed to trap you into saying, this will come for you. What we have done is to say, we ain't talking, We come to act, and we acting, and we going forward. Big man thing. We just want to do the thing. And we want Tobagonians to understand.
Big man thing.
Big man thing. What I say in that movie?
When you come
good, the bad, and when it comes to shoot and don't talk. You see, you're close to my age here.
Thank you, Daddy, for letting me see that one. Okay. All right. When you come to shoot, so you all have come to act.
We come to
no
work.
talk.
We come to work.
Straight talk. No chaser.
No chaser. We come to work.
So that road would be one of the major. You consider one of the major accomplishments.
Absolutely.
All right.
That road.
Give us two more.
But I'm very proud of the road at King Peter Bay Hill, because at the time when we conceptualized moving the stairs, we identified other stairs in Mason Hall, in Speyside, and so on. And we were toying with the idea of coming up a stair removal program to give people vehicular access up the hills. And the show me a road kind of thing that we developed was intended to do that kind of thing, to give persons, because of our topography, access to the houses in cases of emergency, and to facilitate better, easier construction on the slopes and so on. Of course, we never had the money to do it, but yeah, we that road, Friendship Road, the road through Smithfield here, coming over to Dodgeford, going up the road there. I think those three projects were, for me, highlights. The development team fixing that failure in Castara. Big project. Big kudos to them.
All right. But we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the export license that was just granted to Tobago when the Prime Minister and her cabinet were in Tobago just about a week or so ago. And as well, we are going to talk a little bit about the licensing department. The licensing, I know there's some drivers out there, they want to hear a little bit about that. And we're going to talk about that when we come back from the break this morning. Remember, viewers, it is Beneath the Surface. Straight talk, no chaser.
And hear me neighbor, 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Tobago, the breakfast vibes you've been waiting for is here.
When it wrong, tell you you's a big dancer.
It's time for Sun Up Tobago, the ultimate breakfast inclusive pool party that kicks off your carnival in style.
We come to take shots. She come.
Join us on Thursday, October 23rd. 6 a.m. noon at Scarborough House, 138 Milford Road. Music pumping, breakfast sizzling, coolers flowing, and vibes unmatched. A sun, sea, soca, and celebration collides. Get your early bird tickets now at Pablo Supermarkets, Barcode, Lost Restaurant and Lounge, Signature Cuts, IslandEtickets.com, and committee members. Don't miss the event where Tobago Carnival truly begins. Sun Up Tobago. Come for the breakfast, stay for the vibe.
Tobago Television recognizes women in business. Every Thursday morning on The Morning Show, we engage with women-owned and operated businesses from right here in Tobago. We'll discover these women, their businesses, what inspired their business, their highs and their lows, and their encouragement to you. Join me, your host, Adana Kambi, this and every Thursday on The Morning Show from 7:40 a.m. as we celebrate and encourage women in business.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to Beneath the Surface. Straight talk, no chaser. We're still chatting this morning with Assemblyman Trevor Williamson James. And, but just we want to hear from him this morning with regards to that export license that was just received by the THA from central government about a week ago, and what it actually means for the people of Tobago. What does it mean for us? What are we now able to do that we could not do before?
So we inherited a company, Spell, that was formed in 2017 that for a major part operating with equipment that was 15, 20, I think the Cedar Rapids was 33 years old, which was limiting our productive capacity at Spell. And at the same time, we were faced with this enormous demand out of Guyana, was just opening up. They had found oil and energy and so on. We have all this demand for our aggregate being one of the better aggregates in the region. Mm-hmm. And we could not supply because we couldn't increase production. And so we needed to find a way in order to repay an investment in US dollars. And so the export license will allow us to do that. It was a case we presented to the PNM administration in Port of Spain, and they refused to grant the license. We now have the opportunity to change the quarry completely. We have the opportunity to go to a financial institution and say, listen, we can now borrow this whatever million US dollars and we can repay it because we can now gain the necessary foreign exchange to do that. And so the license allows us to completely reorganize Spell, and given that we can now make the case of a payback. Okay. No doubt there is need for new mobile fleet at the quarry, a new crushing plant, and we are already in the process of getting the executive council to approve Spell, give Spell the authority in order to acquire this investment on behalf of the THA and on behalf of the people of Tobago. So that is the basic idea of the license. Of course, we will be able to export, and we will answer some of those questions in the house today. So the people can tune in and see the PNM asking a set of questions about the quarry suddenly. But the license is a good thing, and I think we have finally gotten a Ministry of Energy who understands how Tobago should be going forward. That's separate and apart from the idea of whether the THA should in fact be the entity issuing the license. And that too part of the conversation that we have started to have with the minister, and we would see how that rolls out. But there is that concern that people in the public have raised with me about whether in fact the THA Act should not in this case supersede the Minerals Authority Act, and the THA should be the entity given spell the license on all quarries in Tobago, license to operate and license to export. But that is a conversation for a different thing. But just before you go on,
yes,
I erred in not mentioning the performance of the URP. The URP has been steadily improving. We've reorganized, and we are still reorganizing to get the best out of the URP. The URP has something like 1,300 staff, and we've been engaged in all sorts of work, infrastructure work, roof repair. We build over houses for people if they have their own material. We build coffins, and you would have seen in the last 2 or 3 months, we've had this major push in agriculture. We are now going into the schools and hoping to inspire students to get into agriculture, because we see agriculture as the foundation of everything in Tobago. If we want to produce anything, it will come from the land, and that's where we would start. And we're hoping that the next generation can be inspired to begin to produce and to begin to add value to the natural thing that we produce, so we can begin to have a new entrepreneurial kind of a spirit that starts from the ground, and hopefully that will begin to take root as we begin to have the students help the teachers, give them technical support, and hopefully some of the students will get back into agriculture. We've had this culture since Dude and so on, under the PNM, where people moved away from the land. I remember as a young boy in Winford Shoulder going up to Zion Hill to see Eric Williams talk, and so on, 5 or 6 years. And one of the first things he said is that you don't have to plant any garden anymore. We'd give you a job.
So there was a clear shift away from...
Exactly, and we need to get people back into loving the agriculture, because
feeding
if we
themselves.
can't feed ourselves in Tobago, we are importing, last time I think was $300 million every year of agricultural produce from Trinidad. If a storm hits Port of Spain tomorrow, we are literally going to die. So the program is intended to see how we can tweak it, to see how we can inspire, motivate a new generation of farmers coming through the school system. So that's a big thing for the URP.
Okay, partnering with the Division of Agriculture, yes?
Yes, partnering with the Division of Agriculture.
All right. Now I want to talk a little bit, ask you here, not me talk, but you answer, ask you rather, concerning the licensing, traffic enforcement, what's been happening in Tobago. Now this is persons doing their job. This is licensing department licensing officers doing their job. With regards to the feel on the ground, people on the ground, drivers, road users who are struggling to survive and keep their, I see it, as we see it from various angles here. Licensing department doing their job, road users trying to maintain their vehicles and have them roadworthy enough to be on the roads, but licensing doing their jobs. Now let's talk a little bit here. Now this falls under your purview. There is some tension between road users and the licensing department, and how do we balance? Again, this is people doing their job. This is their job. This is their job. But when these officers are out, as you see, there is low production. There are no drivers few drivers on the road. People in the east cannot get transportation to go home. Their persons are struggling. It's a whole scene when these licensing officers now being referred to by the public as the white shirts.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
There are 2 or 3 issues there. The there is a need to clarify the law. Licensing authority is under the THA. In law, the head of licensing division is under the Ministry of Works in Trinidad, and the officers report to that entity.
Right.
And they send officers to Tobago, and we pay them. And so we in the THA pay them, and probably give them a house and wherever they just get. Right?
This is very interesting.
And so again, as part of the autonomy thing, because the licensing department, so if you want to get a class 5 or a class 7 license now, you have to go to Trinidad. Right? You
Our
can't do it in
licensing
Tobago.
department does not have the teeth to issue.
No, it is regulated by a committee in Trinidad, and you have to go to Trinidad. If we for example, we have bought a low boy. We, the Division of Infrastructure, bought a low boy. We've had it close to 6 months, and we can't get it licensed because we have to wait on a committee in Trinidad, sitting in Trinidad, to give us in Tobago, who in charge of licensing in Tobago, the entity in charge of licensing in Tobago, the entity who pays the staff in Tobago, have to wait on a committee in Trinidad to give us the license so that we could drive a low boy in Tobago.
How long have you
We've had the low boy on our compound now for almost 6 months.
Right.
And so there are legislative things which need to be sorted out, right? My sympathy, of course, after licensing breaking my house and breaking my yard and try to embarrass me.
Yes.
My sympathy, of course, is with the people. I really believe that while there are some lawless people, the majority of persons are in fact struggling to survive. When this is another law that has not come from us in Tobago, and another set of officers that come up to police us as though we are foolish in Tobago. And my sympathy is to the people. Although I'm in government, I really want to be clear, to be saying that you must keep the law as best as you can. However, I know of people, several people, who can't put food on the table and walk in, and had to pay for their car, and car buy tires this month, but the tires are almost smooth.
Now we understand the risk it poses.
But that is what we do. When you leave home and you drive down the road, you are calculating the risk that a man go keep the law and ain't go bounce you. And that risk is mitigated by your insurance. And we all take that risk.
Yeah.
And so my sympathy is to the driver. I really feel that the law is draconian and it should be looked at. I don't have the figures to calculate what's the loss in productivity when people stay home when white shirts are in Tobago. But I assume that will be a high figure. And it's something to be looked at. The law itself needs to be tweaked, I believe. And maybe have warnings and so on, and give somebody time to buy a new tire, or to... I hear they're charging people for your seat have a tear on it, and I said, I'm madness. You know? So I think the law needs to be looked at, and maybe that's something we could attack in the next 4 years, but clearly my sympathy is with the road user.
Very quickly here, what grade would you give yourself in terms of your performance? And we haven't spoken as well, we have not yet spoken about in and around your electoral district, some of the accomplishments. We spoke about, within the division, but before we get to the grade, your electoral district, give us quickly here some of the highlights, some of the things that you were able to do within the electoral district. And I don't mean to rush you, but I know time is of the essence, and time really flies when we're having fun.
You want me to rattle off 5 things for you?
You can.
No. When we walked, twice we walked, in January and in December, for January election and December elections. We made certain promises if we got into office, and I've tried to keep all those promises. The biggest promise we made, of course, was to fix Mongrace playing field, rehabilitate it, and I'm proud that we were able to do that. You know, even the challenges at the Division of Sports and so on, the village council came to me after and said, listen, James, this is what you told us you would do. And I had to use some of my own resources to get it done. But being who I am, the field is now done, and the people are enjoying the field. So that's one of the big achievements for me. We will go to Collar Hall next year. But we made a promise to fix the bridge at Grogo Patch. And we did that. I know the people at Grogo Patch, good morning to you all, still want the road to be fixed and still got customer because the road ain't fixed. But, you know, that's part of the thing. But we made a promise to fix the bridge. And we did, in fact, deliver the bridge. I'm negotiating with Secretary Pollard to have the lights installed along the road before Christmas. We've built over the drains at Abraham Trace, that whole drain from almost Color traffic light that goes down and comes out at Rockleyville traffic light. We've upgraded that drain with a lot of flooding in the back there. We fixed over Abraham Trace. We've retained the Color Hall playing field with a nice fancy looking stone wall. And you know, we've paved and patched different roads in the district and so on. And we've built over drains along Northside Road in Rockleyville. And so I think we've touched almost every polling division in the district. We've built over that road by James Crescent. No relation of mine, but that road at James Crescent, maybe some pumpkin vine family that was there. We still have a little piece to finish in the end. So we've tried to touch every corner of the district and to focus on projects that impact the majority. I know that there are a lot of persons who've come with a wall to do here and a road to do there. We'll get to that, but I try to focus on the projects that would touch the majority.
Right.
And I think in large part I was able to do that. The patching and the paving and so on will continue. But yeah, we've kept hamper drives all through the year, children party on the softer side of things all through the year. And this year we'll have a grand Christmas treat, you know. And so we think we have attempted to touch the people in the district, and I think we've done that, and we've found ways to show the people that we care, and we demonstrating our concern and trying to fulfill the needs of the people as best as we can. It's not an easy job, but we do the best that we can.
What grade would you give yourself? A to F?
A to F?
A to F.
Yeah. I tell my children that my mother told me that I can only come first in tests. There was no other,
based on your performance over the last 4 years.
This is the forward. Yes. This is the forward. This is the forward. And I have done my best with the resources that was available to me at the division. And I think I don't want to grade myself, but I think the public will grade me with an A.
With an?
With an A.
With an A. Okay.
If not an A plus.
Okay. Very confident.
Well, I can't grade myself. The public will judge and the public will grade.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Finally here. As we look, you've thrown your hat into the ring again. You're offering yourself up for a nomination for election. I see we recognize that 2 other persons from within your electoral district have also thrown their hat into the ring. What would it suggest? I know there are some communities where some persons are going up unopposed, as in the case of Assemblyman Charles Panton and others. 2 persons in your case, in some instances, some persons, 9 persons within electoral districts offering themselves up to be screened. What would it suggest to you that there are two other persons who are saying, look, I think I can do this? Trevor James makes it look pretty easy, or I don't think he's doing such a good job. I think I have what it takes to do better. What does it suggest to you?
That other people have thrown their hat in the ring?
Yeah.
No, listen, we are individuals, and people, in my mind, should be free to offer themselves. And I'm happy that people think that they can serve Tobago from the district of Scarborough-Mount Grace. And so it's a good thing that there's competition. I want to say, though, that from some of the conversations I am seeing on Facebook and so on, that the public has to bear in mind what it really means to be a representative. I think we're not crystal clear on what it means or what it takes. A representative in the THA is someone who can connect with the people supposedly on the ground, wherever that ground is. They can connect with the people in the district, can represent the people in trying to meet their desires and their needs and their goals and their aspirations. The representative must be able to contribute in the House, in the plenary, to be able to impact the legislative agenda, to be able to go out into Trinidad and out in the world, to be the face of the THA, to be able to speak the right things, to be able to answer off the cuff. The representative has to be the person who can run a division.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be clear that we understand where we have come from.
Okay.
We've seen all kinds of people in the past get voted into office as representatives and could not deliver because they made a choice on one of those things. And it is something that we in Tobago have to be very careful about.
Okay.
You're going to find that you have to find someone who can manage $500,000 in a division. You find someone who can go and write a speech to defend the autonomy struggle in Trinidad and Tobago. And someone who can deliver a playing field in Mount Grace with no resources.
Okay. Got it. Noted. Noted. Just as we're wrapping up here, Mr. James, Assemblyman James, what would you say to the people of your electoral district? Why does Trevor James deserve another term in office? Why does Assemblyman Trevor Williamson James deserve another term in office?
I think I have demonstrated that I am of the people. I think there is this idea that James is this aloof, educated fella who don't talk to the people and who not on the ground. That's why I started out with the fact that I'm a carpenter.
Because Joseph was a carpenter, yes. Go
Well,
ahead.
I know if Joseph was a carpenter, but I started with that fact. Because there is this conversation, right? That James is this aloof, bright fella, his children and them bright, and he feel better than people, and me can't talk dialect, and me could, right?
Well, you can. Okay, go ahead.
So I have demonstrated in the district that I can represent them, that I have delivered for them. It has not been an easy road meeting all the needs. Obviously, there are things that will always be there to be done. No representative can do everything, certainly not in 4 years. And when you do something this year, you might have to repeat it next year. And so I have made promises, and I've kept all the promises that I have made to the people when I walked. Okay. And that must, in my mind, count for something. Could I have been a better representative? People will argue that I should go by the bar more often, or I should go by the playing field more often.
Pay for a round of drinks.
Well, that has been done.
Okay.
But they'll argue that they don't see more of that. People in Calder Hall, some of them are peeved because I spend a lot of time trying to fix the field in Mount Grace. So you can't do everything, but
please all of the people all of the time.
All of the time. But I think I've acted in every polling division to say that I have been your representative. I want to deliver for you. I plan to deliver. I promise to deliver, and I have in fact delivered. Okay. So I think with those words, I think people should in fact be confident that Trevor is the man.
Okay, with the plan. Thank you so much for chatting with us this morning, Assemblyman Trevor Williamson James. We want to thank you, viewers, for joining us for this episode of Beneath the Surface Straight Talk, No Chaser. You can join us tomorrow right here from 8 a.m. for another episode of Beneath the Surface Straight Talk, No Chaser. We encourage you to have a great day. Bye-bye, Tobago.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.